Hey, welcome back to Breezy Reef and to my 90-gallon mixed reef. It's been a while. I had to check my channel and realized it had been a little over 2 months since my last update. So there's a lot going on. Some things not so good, but mostly overall positive changes, and really the system is doing just great. So if you watch my last vid, I mean, the obvious change right off the bat is the addition of 2 new fish. I added 2 tangs to the system, and I was really excited to do so because I have always really been fascinated with tangs, and it had been well over a year since I had a tang in this system. I used to have a yellow tang, but I traded her in when I got my copper band. And then when I ended up taking my copper band back to the local fish store after about 8 or 10 months, and then within a couple months after that, my Lamarck's Angel, which was the other large fish, passed away. I had some room in the system, so I decided to get these 2 tangs, and I got a pretty good size 4 to 5 inch Tamini, also known as a flame fin, which is up there pecking at the Coralia. And the other one I got is a Desjardins sailfin tang, and I think I'm pronouncing that right. I might not be, but it's a Red Sea sailfin tang swimming across the front there. And it's smaller, but kind of right in between its juvenile and adult color morph. So it has some of the spots coming in on the face, but just a really beautiful fish. They both get along really well. A lot of the times the sailfin is following the Tamini around the tank. And I mentioned they're functional fish. I actually put them in the system not only because I really wanted some tangs, but because I had an issue with some little macroalgae that were growing on my live rock. And I believe they came in on some coral frags that I added. And it started out it was kind of a maroon colored little plant like carpet macroalgae that was growing on in some patches on the rock, but it was slowly starting to spread, and I was concerned it was going to kind of overrun my system. So I threw these tangs in there with the hope that they'd take a liking to it, and sure enough they did. And I mean, within a couple of weeks they had a lot of it taken care of, and there's still a little bit here and there, which doesn't bother me, but they keep it really trimmed back, and I think it's a good food source for them. But they are very active fish. I mean, in this video you'll see, I mean, they're constantly working on the rock, pecking on the glass, the pumps, and it's really awesome when you can put something in your reef that can start working for you like that. So I'm really excited about these fish, and they've settled right into the system really with no problems, and they are happy and healthy. So those are the new additions there. I did remove my spotted hawkfish, which I featured quite a bit in my last couple of updates, but it was a very aggressive fish, and I believe that was the one that took out my lyre-tail anthias. And it was constantly harassing a lot of things in the tanks. So I ended up catching that fish one day and took it back the day I got the tangs. So that's the deal with the fish. Now I'm going to move along, and I'll show you some other things going on in the system. So I guess I'll start with the bad first. This piece I added right before my last update. It's a really bright green ORA green Montipora, and I've added it to the system, and right away it started to bleach in some certain areas and die off. So I was pretty discouraged for a little bit, but lo and behold, I believe it's turned the corner, and it's seems to be making a comeback. It's actually grown out quite a bit on the edges. The whole piece itself has gotten quite a bit larger, maybe about 1/3 larger, and the edges are starting to turn up and grow in different directions. And there was actually 3 areas where the die-off was occurring, and now those are slowly filling in. One to the right has already filled all the way back in. So it's encouraging, and I think this piece is just going to do just fine in my system. So a couple months ago I got this other frag, which is a really nice piece of a purple torch coral. And I just relocated it down to this spot. It's a lot closer to the bottom of the tank now. It's actually kind of slightly under this ledge and gets a lot less light. I originally had it a lot closer to the surface, and it was just losing some of its dark purple color. So I think it was just getting too much light, and I think it's already starting to kind of bounce back. So that's where I have this piece, and I'm hoping it does a lot better here. Most of my LPS corals are kind of in the lower to mid level of my tank, so that's where I'm going to try this one for now. Now over here above the green monopora I have that hyacinth ORA bird's nest. It's weird, the polyps aren't dark purple like they used to be. It's kind of more of a pink color, but you can see it's growing new branches all over the place. So I think it's doing fine. Maybe it'll get some of that original color back. Now this is my newest piece. This is kind of like a red or a rose millipora, but you know, I kind of screwed up. I bought this piece and I didn't get it into the tank that same day. I ended up having to stay the night down where I bought the coral. It's about an hour away from my house. And I just put this in almost a week ago, and you can see the bleaching I got there. And I actually think this thing's a goner. Those front few branches look pretty good. If it continues to bleach, I might try to frag one of those off and see if I could at least save a piece. But I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe it'll somehow turn around, but you can see what I'm working with there. It was a really nice colony when I bought it. And that's actually where I had the purple torch. So it's a really nice ledge. I got the torch out of there and just decided to add some more SPS. Here's my colony of Miami orchid. I think it's doing pretty good. It doesn't have a whole lot of amazing color to it, but it's got pretty good growth going on. It does get kind of caught up in my green signalaria there, but I'm just leaving it be and letting it do its thing. And then you can see I got a frag of my GSP from downstairs, my green star polyps, and I glued that piece to the overflow so it could start growing up the overflow. So you'll notice I moved my smaller blue crocea from the nanocube into this system. This one kept moving up under the larger anemone that I have in the nanocube, and it was getting irritated by the anemone, so I put it in this system and kind of put it out in this little area of open sand so it could move around and position itself, and it seems to be doing really well. So guys, check out these SPS. I mean, they are growing crazy. At least I think they are. I think I'm getting a really good growth rate from all the SPS I've been adding. And I don't really do anything too crazy as far as dosing to this tank. I don't run a calcium reactor. I don't dose heavily at all, maybe two to three times a week, and not even that much. I guess as these things grow out and continue to get larger, I'll probably have to dose more, but I just kind of leave it be, and so far so good. And they are just adding so much to my system, and I just love watching these things grow. And I've already fragged this big one quite a few times, and constantly, you know, getting some trade credit when I frag it. So that's pretty cool. So just a little side note, my purple spiny sea urchin about a month ago made the hole in the rock right here, as I call it, its home. So it stays up in the hole most of the time, protected by the light. It's kind of cool to see him in there. And then at night, you know, he ventures off. He doesn't go very far, but by morning he's back up in the hole. So that's his new home. So that's it for now on the 90-gallon. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I also want to say thank you to all the subscribers that are continuing to support my channel. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope you're all enjoying your own systems at home. Talk to you soon.